When it started raining, and it got me thinking about addressing the topic. It's about the difference between the Brazilian culture and the English culture. Now listen guys, I know there's Brazilians out there be watching this. This isn't a negative video. I just want to talk about how it is, how I see it. And today was a prime example of when the UK would have been behaving in a completely different way than how the Brazilians do. So this morning I got up about 9 o'clock, had my breakfast at the guest house where I'm staying, and I went to go down to the beach. I thought I'd go and make a video about the beaches here in Itaquaí. However, it poured down with rain. It was absolutely raining cats and dogs, as they say. And what I noticed, everyone swam, which is just the same as what had happened while I was in Santa Cruz Cabral. All the women run for shelter, every single one of them. There was no one in the street. Within a couple of minutes, it was as if a monster tsunami or something like that had hit town. The way people scatter when it rains in Brazil, it's like nothing you've ever seen. When it's raining
in England,
if you stopped, you won't get anything done. I mean, it's just come off raining about 50 days in a row in the UK. So imagine if we stopped every time it rained. Over here, a massive cultural difference is when it rains. And they say when it rains, it pours. But in Brazil, Jesus, when it rains, they scram. They all run away. It got me thinking about other things. The way Brazilians, they can't say no, or it's like they don't know how to say no. And it stems back. It's like they don't want to let anybody down. So what they do, they'll say yes, or maybe, or deveria, or I should do. They'll agree to do something, which they've got no intention of doing. They'll agree anyway, because it's more rude for them to say no, that they're not going to do it, they're not going to come to your party, they're not going to be coming out to see you, than it is for them to not turn up and completely let you down. To them, that wouldn't be rude. That's Brazilian way of being polite. You know, something that just come to my head today. I think I want to share that. Now, if you're Brazilian and you disagree with me, just let me know in the comments below. But also, if you're a gringo, if you're already here, you would have found that out already. And if you're coming, don't expect people to say no. Also, it's like a double-edged sword. Because Bobby's found some new friends. Bobby dog, come here, boy. Bobby. It's like a double-edged sword, because also, I'm from London. When we are, if I don't want to do something, I'll just say, no, I'm not doing it. However, if I find myself talking to a Brazilian like that and saying no, oh, am I going to a party? No, I'm busy. Again, they'll think I'm being rude. That comes across really the wrong way. So it's something I've had to get used to over the last 20 years of being here. It's not to be blunt. It's crazy, I know, but it's true, and it's something that, well, something I've had to get used to. I have done to the best of my ability, but sometimes it still boils to the top, and I found myself saying no. But if you're any of my Brazilian friends who are watching this, when I say no, it's not being rude. It's just me saying how it is, because we're kind of straight talkers, us boys from London, and that's how it is. And it sort of runs into the next thing. It's like when there's a problem, you know, you have a little quarrel or something like that. Over here, the Brazilian would just say, deixa para lá, deixa para lá, leave it there. When I'm saying a problem, I'm not talking about a major problem. I'm talking about, you know, trying to get something sorted, for argument's sake. You want something done, you want someone to do something, and then maybe they don't want to do it, and you'll get yourself in a conversation, and rather than resolving whatever the problem is, the response would be something along the lines of deixa para lá, but just leave it to one side. And of course, that way nothing gets resolved. I grew up in an Irish-influenced household. Let's just say they're the kings of gossip, world champions in gossip. They love to gossip about people. Well, at least that's what I thought. But then, when I arrived in Brazil, this will make you laugh, I discovered that maybe the Brazilians could be the new world champions in the gossip. They will know, like I said before, who you are, where you're from, where you're going, where you come from, long before you arrive. Now to me, that makes maybe the Brazilians could well be the world champions in gossip. They know exactly what everyone's done, where everyone is, and then they're not shy about talking about it. Now, if you're a Brazilian and you agree with me, let me know in the comments below. There's also, the video should also be a little bit of fun. It's not all about being serious here. Brazilians are definitely gossips. And they like, that's another reason why I tend to ask quite a lot of questions. That's what I believe anyway. Let me know what you think, guys. But look at this place. Brazil just has so much natural beauty. Just amazing. Miles and miles and miles and miles and miles of deserted beaches. Once again, one of the reasons why I love it so much here. And you need to know this before you come here, because this is something else. When you go into a restaurant, don't start complaining. Don't start complaining that you're waiting. Don't start complaining that the food's cold. And sometimes you may order something here and what comes isn't what you ordered. Don't start
Especially if you're a gringo.
Chill out, remember where you are and relax. And when I first got here, I was that guy who was complaining about stuff. And it didn't make me very popular. And I learned, this ain't a country where people complain. This is a place where people get on with it. And nothing's too much of a problem. Like I said, if they're arguing with each other, they prefer to deixar para lá. And if you're in a restaurant and you're ordering the food, you need to know this. You can't be complaining. It's not how it works here.
So unlike the US and the UK, the Brazilian waiters and waitresses, they don't rely on tips. Even though more recently they have been putting 10% on top of bills lately, but it's not culturally correct to start complaining if you have something you're not happy with.
Now, Americans are straight talkers. Brazilians aren't. Brazilians are a lot more calmer, more relaxed. They're more gentle. They're more gentle in their approach. They would rather walk away unhappy than to complain in the hope of making you unhappy. That's just how they are. And if you're coming here from the States, from the UK, or from one of them countries where people like to complain,
Germany,
you need to leave that complaining over there. This is not a place for those who want to complain. It really isn't. Listen, I'm just walking along the beach here and I'm just thinking how safe this feels and how lovely it is. You know, this is, like I say, this is the northeast of Brazil. Somewhere that people in the south complain about. But don't go by everything you read on the newspaper or you see on the TV. On the TV, they only show plane crashes. They never show all them safe flights. Just like here, if there's a problem up here, they can't wait to report it. But hundreds and hundreds of days go past without incident. And today is another one of those days where nothing happens. However, I'm reporting on it. I mean, look at this place. It's absolutely stunning. It really is. And a lot of you gringos out there will never even heard of Itaquerê. But here it is. A place in the northeast of Brazil that's safe, beautiful, and believe it or not, for some of you who can't be bothered to learn Portuguese, quite a lot of people seem to speak English here. There's quite a big gringo influence. It's also a surfer's paradise. There's something for your newcomers, something you need to remember, something you need to know when you come here. A little bit of a cultural difference here. If you turn up at a bar or anywhere like that, party, it's polite to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody. That means going over, shaking their hands, giving them kisses, even if you don't know the people. So that's something pretty Brazilian, which is I'm kind of fond of, which is nice. You know, so you don't ever walk into a place feel like you're alone. You can walk into a bar anywhere in Brazil, and wherever you go, there'll be people sitting there. It's not like when you're in England. You might be walking into a bar and you think, hang on, have I walked into the wrong place here? You don't never get that in Brazil, not anywhere. Not anywhere that I've been. You walk into a bar and you'd be strange in there and they break the ice straight away. Boa tarde, bom dia, depending what time you end up in the bar at, that is. So you walk into places and yeah, you know, you're instantly put at ease. And that's something all over Brazil. Wherever I've been in Brazil, it's always been the same. Quite weird, because I went back to London a few years back. I was driving a waste disposal truck for a friend of mine, and our first job was in Harrods. And I hadn't been back in the UK for 6 years. So I drove his truck into Harrods at 6 o'clock in the morning. And I walked in there and I was saying, hello, good morning to everyone. The way people were looking at me, it felt like that scene out of Crocodile Dundee when he turns up in Manhattan and he's saying hello, good morning to everyone. I don't know if you older people can remember that. That's how I felt when I went back to England. Again, a massive difference between the English and the Brazilians is how much more friendly and how welcoming they are to strangers in a strange place. That's something, you know, warms your heart. That's the honest truth. These are cultural differences between the UK and Brazil. If you disagree with anything I say, or even if you agree with anything I say,
be sure to let me know in the comments below.
It's a lovely little beach. A nice little bit of Brazilian culture here. Brazilian beach life culture. It's an amazing place. Here you go, boy. And they say there's 1,000 places you need to visit before you die. Yeah, just to be honest, I just wanted to share something with you guys about the reality of what it's really like and some of the real difference between my country and the wonderful country where I live. There's a little bonus at the end of the video.
Place to watch the sun go down. Another little hassle-free, safe as you can be. Little place where you can sit or stand, watch the sunset, drink a little caipirinha, take your kids and feel safe. That's the beauties of the northeast of Brazil. And that's why I can't ever see myself leaving here. Bobby Dog loves it also. Cocktail and a sunset. How's that?